If you want an easy way to upgrade and customize the driving experience of your 2019 to 2024 Ram 1500, then the Edge Pulsar XT will be a great choice for your build. This is a simple app-controlled plug-and-play module that gives you tons of choices to customize your truck and gives you all the benefits of a programmer and a throttle controller in one compact package. And when it comes to programmers or modules like this, it's important to understand what they do, but also what they don't do. So let's start out with what the Pulsar XT is not, and the big thing to note is that this is not a tuning module. This is not meant to increase the power output of your engine or give you any type of power gains. So if you're looking to crank up the power of your engine or get something that's going to help accommodate for other engine modifications, this probably is not for you. That said, there is a lot that this little unit can do. It's going to allow you to change multiple different settings on your truck that you wouldn't otherwise be able to change. Now this is all controlled via a smartphone app that is compatible with both iOS and Android devices, and you can make changes on the fly. Perhaps the setting that can make the most difference is the throttle calibration. Now this is going to work like a throttle controller to change the amount of delay there is when you press the accelerator pedal. You can leave it stock, you can make it a bit less responsive to help eke out some more MPG, or you can put it in one of the other 6 settings to reduce or completely eliminate the delay and make that pedal react almost instantaneously. Now the other big thing that most of you Ram owners out there will want to know is that the Pulsar XT can disable your multi-displacement system, known commonly as MDS. This will also be a boon for your driving experience as it permanently locks the truck into V8 mode. So it's not going to shut down half the cylinders under light engine loads like it does in stock form, and your truck will respond better and faster in all situations. But that's not all it can do. This can also adjust your TPMS warning threshold if you need to run lower or higher pressures in your tires. It can also calibrate your speedometer and odometer for different wheel and tire sizes, anywhere from 28 inches up to 48-inch tires, and different rear end ratios as well, so those gauges will read correctly. It can also do things like enabling the transmission gear display in drive mode so you don't have to activate the gear hold setting or sport mode in order to see what gear you're in. The Pulsar can enable or disable traction control, and it will also remember your previous tow haul setting on startup, so you don't have to push that button or activate that setting every time, which is super convenient if you're towing often. It can also disable or enable auto start stop without the press of a button, so it can just be in that setting automatically. Even better, this will read and clear diagnostic trouble codes, so if your truck does happen to pop a check engine light, you can read and clear the codes right on your phone in the app, saving you a trip to the shop or dealer. Construction is kind of hard to talk about with these sorts of modules, as really there's not too much here, but it is worth noting that this is a totally plug-and-play setup that utilizes the OBD2 module and this other cord right here. Everything is going to plug right in using factory-style connectors and wire covers, so it will all look and fit just like it came this way from the factory. And if you do need to unplug this for any reason, or you need to return your truck to completely stock form, you can just unplug this and it will leave absolutely no trace in your electrical system. As far as pricing goes, this will come in at around $550. Now, it might sound like it's on the expensive side for something that isn't a tuner. However, if you were to buy a throttle controller and an AFM delete module, you'd likely spend just as much, if not more, than you would for this. And those two things separately are still not going to get you all the features the Pulsar XT has. Plus, it's still less than most of the tuners out there. And for the convenience it can provide and the improvement in overall drivability that it can make, it's well worth the price tag. As far as installation goes, well, really couldn't be much easier. Coming in at a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, it's just a simple matter of doing up a couple of plugs, really. Should only take you about 30 minutes or so to get it all set up and working, maybe a little bit more if your phone is slow and you want to play around in the app. It should take you no more than 30 minutes to get everything set up and working, maybe a little bit more if your phone is slow and you want to play around with the options in the app. But in order to get it actually plugged in, really doesn't take too much time at all.
For this install, you need a ratchet, 10 and 7mm socket, trim panel removal tool, diagonal cutters, needle nose pliers, and the supplied zip ties. All right, today we're gonna be installing an inline tuning module on our Ram, so let's get started. All right, before we do anything electronically, we're just gonna disconnect our negative terminal on our battery. So a ratchet, 10mm socket, loosen that up. Just twist that till it comes off. Pop that off and just let that sit on the side. All right, so the first thing we need to do is gain access to our module behind our dash and our fuse box. So we're gonna take our trim panel removal tool, pop off our light switch trim. If you want, you can just unplug that, get this out of the way, pull the red tab back, just set that aside. So next we have to remove our panel here. So we have two 7mm bolts, one here, one here. Grab a ratchet socket, take those out. Just gonna get our panel out of the way. All right, now you don't have to remove this lower panel, but we're gonna do it just to get a little bit easier access. But if you want to, there's just 4 tabs holding the OBD port in, plug here, and then a couple tabs securing down our hood release. We're just gonna get these out of the way, and then we can go ahead and get into our fuse box and our module. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is get our fuse tap in. Now we're going after F33, which is this 10 amp fuse right here. We're gonna remove that, put our tap in. First thing, we're just gonna plug our harness in together. Just a simple plug. Then we're going to grab a pair of needle nose pliers, pull out our fuse, and just plug this one in line. All right, so right now we're in our access hole behind our light switch. We have our CAN wire, which we're going to plug in. You'll see this module here. Now it says plug it into any open spot. So we're just going to go in the bottom one here and simply push in. You hear a click, and you're all set. So we're back around the fuse box and we're gonna plug in our module. It's just gonna go in like so. Now you can secure this however you want. I'm just gonna go right to this harness right here with a couple of the supplied zip ties. Just secure this up out of the way. Definitely just wanna make sure it's not gonna be bouncing around or anything. This will be good enough for right now. Take a pair of diagonal cutters, just cut off the extra. And now we just need to deal with our pedal plugs, which we're just gonna actually feed behind and drop down so they come down above our pedal so we can get those plugged in. Yeah, like I said, you can secure that up better if you want, but now we can get our pedal plugged in. So now we have our pedal connector. You'll see our harness hanging down. We're gonna pull out and then lift up. And we'll go ahead and plug our harness in line. Secure that down. Then go ahead and plug our harness back into our pedal. Make sure everything's out of the way of anything moving. Now we can start reassembling our dash. Now we'll get our lower trim piece back in place. Line up all of our tabs, give them a tap, and then reinstall our two 7mm screws. All right, we're just gonna plug our light switch back in, secure the locking tab down, just push it into place. Last thing we need to do is just reattach our battery. So get our terminal back on, ratchet, 10mm socket, tighten that down. All right, so now to change your settings, it's very nice and easy. We're gonna make sure that we have the cruise control off, and we're gonna be using our set up and down and cancel button. Now you're gonna be looking on the instrument cluster, right where it says radio station, hit cancel, it'll tell you which stage you're on. You see it flash real quick. But you use up and down, so we go to stock, economy, cruise, drive, sport, hot, and then ludicrous. Just leave it set on that. You'll see it said updating and it changes to it. Just hit cancel and make sure you're in it, and you're all set to go. And that wraps up our install of our Diablosport Pulsar XT inline tuning module for a 2019-24 Ram 1500, excluding the Eco Diesel and TRX. And remember, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.